the EPA under Scott Pruitt is now coming after greenhouse emissions and fuel economy standards for cars. Now, what they're doing is that they're basically expected to roll back the initiative, this initiative at fuel standards and things like that, and they're expected to frame it as eliminating regulation, a regulatory burden on car makers. Now, they say that this would result in more affordable trucks, vans, and sport utility vehicles. These rules, which would be aimed at cutting tailpipe emissions of carbon dioxide, a major contributor to global warming, were one of two pillars of Mr. Obama's climate change legacy. Put forth in 2012, they would have required automakers to nearly double the average fuel economy of new cars and trucks to about 54.5 miles per the gallon by 2025. Now, these efficiency rules are known as CAF. This is Corporate Average Fuel Economy. So, look, the result of this is that basically Trump and the EPA under Scott Pruitt want you to not only put more pollution into the atmosphere, or they don't care, and they want your cars to be less fuel efficient. That means more gasoline sales. So, wonderful. Now, we're not only not doing anything about climate change, we're also going to make you use more gas. Now, Donald Trump said, quote, "I'm sure you all heard the big news that we're going to work on the CAF standards so you can make cars in America again. We want to be the car capital of the world again. We will be, and it won't be long. We'll also be the pollution capital again because under Scott Pruitt, the EPA has decided to stop protecting the environment, and now they're basically protecting polluters. So, wonderful. Now, there's more. If fully implemented, the rules would have cut oil consumption by about 12 billion barrels and reduced carbon dioxide pollution by about 6 billion tons over the lifetime of all the cars affected by the regulations. This is according to official EPA projections. So that would have actually saved a lot of fuel and would have reduced climate change. I mean, 6 billion tons over the lifetime of the cars. That is not insignificant. Vehicles make up a major contributor to greenhouse gases. Agriculture also actually makes up, I think, the most. But if we're to curb at least one of those, then we could actually prevent the worst from climate change that's going to happen. But unfortunately, we're not going to be going in that direction. Now, one major concern about this is that if we roll back the standards, which we're on track to do, other countries will follow suit. For example, the concern is that automakers will go around the world basically trying to lobby regulators, saying that, look, because the United States has reduced the pace everywhere else should too, said Anup Bandavadekar, a researcher at the International Council on Clean Transportation. Now, they said that global car makers applied developments in one region to lobby for changes in other regions. So we loosen our fuel standards, then they can go to Europe and try to loosen fuel standards there for European automakers. And then suddenly we're back on pace for even more than 2 degrees of warming, which would be disastrous for the human race. The planet will be here, but the human race, we might not be if we continue to destroy our environment. Now, California, interestingly enough, they're actually going to be fighting against this because they have their own waiver that allows them to hold higher standards than the federal government. So they already have higher standards, and they're actually very proud of that fact. Like, yeah, we have higher fuel efficiency standards, and we want to make sure that we actually protect the environment, even if it costs automakers just a little bit more in order to make cars. Sad day, but we're actually trying to do the right thing here. Now, the thing is that automakers, they won't be happy because there will be essentially 2 different markets. And we could see the federal government go after California on behalf of the automakers, on behalf of big industry. So we'll see what happens in that fight. But of course, Look, this basically is what's expected to come out of the EPA under Scott Pruitt. Pruitt is a climate change denier. That's no secret. He's pro-fossil fuel industry, of course, and he lives in a condo owned by a power lobbyist couple. That power lobbyist couple also lobbied on behalf of natural gas. And in one trip to Morocco, Pruitt was there pushing fracking. Oh no, liquefied natural gas, it'll be great for Morocco. This is my official position as head of the EPA. By the energy companies, for the energy companies. And look, again, this is disastrous having Pruitt in that position because, look, so far we have seen a rollback on progress on the environment that we're not going to be easily able to fix. I mean, once Trump's gone, you can't just, all the carbon that was released under the Trump administration under Republican rule doesn't go back into the tailpipes. It's there in the environment, and we're going to have to deal with it. So far, under the Trump administration, we've had 67 rules that were meant to protect the environment and slow down pollution disappear under Trump. They're gone, and probably more to come. And now the effect on climate change means it's going to get much, much worse. And look, what we put in the air today, we're not going to feel the impact of until much later. And that's kind of how this works, right? So right now, we're feeling the effect of maybe decades ago carbon that was put into the atmosphere. It has a latent effect. So what we put up there now, we're going to feel decades. And again, it's cumulative. It basically adds up. So if you think it's bad now, or if we're having disasters now, we'll just wait. Just wait until all of that carbon that we put out today adds up with the carbon that we put in the atmosphere already. It's going to be a disaster. But hey, at least we'll have cheaper cars, right? But we'll have to fill up more because now they burn gas. MAGA? I guess. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.